All right, welcome to our final video. This is video 4 of our case study of the Yakama tribe, which really it doesn't have anything at all to do with the Yakama Confederation, right? It's the directions for this week's assignment. So here's what you're going to do for the last assignment of this week. And really it's going to run into next week as well. You're going to start researching the stories of local tribes. So you're going to pick a tribal group that is located in the region where you live. You're going to choose which tribe you will research. That's entirely up to you. Okay, but just realize that whichever tribal group you pick, that's going to stay consistent throughout this part of the unit, and that you're going to need to feature their story as part of your tile for our mural. And remember, the theme of our mural is the greater IA community, meaning the communities that we're all members of. So we've got 4 questions right here that we're going to consider. And you're going to pick 1, maybe 2, depending on how much time it takes, but maybe 1, okay, to research this week. And then you're going to continue with that research next week. And when you start your research, what I want you to do is start your research at the website for the tribe that you pick. You can branch out from there, but I want you to start there. Okay, so start with the story of the tribe as it presents itself. And then you can dig in and you can do some additional research. But for right now, I want you to start with their website. So here's our 4 questions. And again, you're going to pick 1, maybe 2, but probably 1 to consider and write some notes about. So what decisions impacted the tribes in the region where you live and how? Okay, so we talked about some that influenced the Yakama more generally, but we also talked about several that are more general, that speak to a lot of local tribes. Okay, so what decisions impacted the tribes in the region where you live and how? Question 2, right? How have those decisions impacted tribes' relationships to the land, both historically and today? All right, so we're not only are we looking at the 1800s, the 1900s, but we're also looking at today. Okay, did the tribes in your region resist? If so, how? So quick note about resistance. We often think of resistance as being like they went to war, like when we talked about the Yakama Wars, right? And that is a form of resistance. It is not the only form of resistance, okay? But it's one that we often talk about. When we're talking about resistance, that also includes things like maintaining local culture, telling traditional stories to children, teaching the language, and maintaining that language, right? So it can be violent. It can be people going to war and fighting, but it can also be struggling simply to maintain your culture or even to live in an area where you're not wanted. Okay, so how did the tribes in your region resist? Or whichever tribe you pick, how did they resist? Okay, so that was question 3. Number 4, how have the tribes or tribal members stayed connected to one another historically and today? So how have they maintained that community historically, and how do they continue to maintain that today? You're going to turn your notes in on whichever question you pick. Like I said, pick 1, maybe 2, but probably 1. And you're going to turn them into assignment 2.1.3. Okay, it's a yes/no assignment. That's how I'm going to treat it. Turn in notes that address 1 or more of the questions, you get full credit. Hard stop. Okay, we're going to keep it that simple. Are you making progress that you need to make? Turn in some notes. All right, If you have questions about any of this, if you need help with any of this, please go ahead, reach out, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in class.